Hi, today we are going to practice dividing decimal numbers. Here we go. So when we are dividing decimal numbers, I really want you to just go back to the strategies you learned about dividing whole numbers because they all apply here. We've talked about division as sharing. We've talked about division as counting groups. And we'll also talk about a way that we can divide decimal numbers without actually dealing with decimals. Let's try some examples. Here we have 1 8/10 divided by 3. This is a great question for sharing. So I've got 1 8/10. I can also call that 18/10. And if I think of this as an 18, it makes the division a lot easier. 18 divided by 3 is 6. So 18/10 divided by 3 would be 6/10. So in a way, we're kind of forgetting about the decimal. We're seeing this as an 18 divided by 3, and we're putting our 6 as our answer, our digit, and then we're adjusting for the fact that this isn't 18. This is a number that is 10 times smaller than 18. Therefore, my answer must be 10 times smaller than 6. Another good sharing question here, I've got 21 hundredths divided by 7. I know that 21 divided by 7 is 3. So there has to be a 3 in my answer, but this isn't 21 ones, this is 21 hundredths, so I'll have to have 3 hundredths as my answer. Okay, I'm just adjusting for the fact that I have a decimal in my question. Okay, if you're doing level B or C questions, you'll see decimals in both your dividend and your divisor. And you'll be happy to know that this is not a scary question. You can actually get rid of the decimals here. I know that 15 hundredths divided by 5 hundredths is going to give me the same quotient as 15 divided by 5, because I can make both my dividend and my divisor 100 times larger each, but that will not change the quotient. So you can think of this as 15 divided by 5, which is not 5, it's 3. Okay, and there's no adjusting necessary here. If this 5 had been a whole number, well then I would need to adjust it. But because I'm dividing a decimal number by a decimal number, I have adjusted my numbers to create a new question, an equivalent question. 15 divided by 5 is the exact same question as 15 hundredths divided by 5 hundredths. So 3 is my final answer. Another way to look at this, if the moving of the decimal is not clicking with you, think of this as counting groups. I've got 15 hundredths, dividing it by 5 hundredths. How many groups of 5 hundredths are in 15 hundredths? There are 3 whole groups of 5 hundredths in 15 hundredths. If you want to think of this as money, how many nickels are in 15 cents? There are 3. 3 whole nickels. Okay, 3 2/10 divided by 4 tenths. Here's another one I can adjust. I can make this a 32 and make this a 4. And this is the same question. They will have the exact same answer without the need to adjust my answer at all. 32 divided by 4 is 8. Okay, because there are 8 groups of 4 in 32, just like there are 8 groups of 4 tenths in 32 tenths. Okay, now it's your turn. Pause the video, try these questions, and then come on back and check your answers. Okay, here I have got 42 tenths divided by 6. I know that 42 divided by 6 is 7, and since this is 42 tenths divided by 6, my answer should be 7 tenths. Here I've got 14 hundredths divided by 2. I know that 14 divided by 2 is 7, but because this is 14 hundredths divided by 2, my answer should be 7 hundredths. Here I've got 48 tenths, or 4 8/10 divided by 6. So you can think of this as 48 divided by 6, and I know that these two questions will have the exact same answer because there are 8 groups of 6 in 48, just like there are 8 groups of 6/10 in 48 tenths. Here in my mind I can just think of this as 72 divided by 8. I've increased both the dividend and the divisor by 100 times. I know 72 divided by 8 is 9. So that means there are 9 groups of 8 in 72, just like there are 9 groups of 8 hundredths in 72 hundredths.